everyone, it's me, Spring, the fiber enthusiast, and welcome to the channel. And you're probably saying fiber enthusiast, but you're sitting at this table with this glass. Yes, I am. This is Lampworking Day. I know we've kind of been out of it for the past few weeks, and I am trying to get busy and back in gear. So today we're going to make a bead, and I'm going to use some of this Marini to add to it and see what happens as far as what other design I may do. My thought process is a white bead to start with, and then add in the Marini in various places. Not sure if I'll use them all or not. And then maybe add some blue dots on top of that just to kind of put a little extra in there. And of course, we're going to be covering it in clear. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Not quite sure what all I'm going to do, but we'll see. And yeah, so if you are new to this channel, I want to welcome you. And if this is your first video, I want to let you know that this isn't the only thing that happens here. There's so many different things that happen here on the channel. This is just a journey that I'm on as far as the lamp working. And none of my lamp working is demonstration meant to teach you anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing and how I'm going about doing certain things. But I also do knitting, needle tatting, crocheting, Tunisian crochet, the Addy knitting machine, and spinning, weaving, mixing fibers, blending fibers, dyeing yarn, dyeing fibers, spinning it into yarn, all kinds of things. So I have all kinds of different playlists. If you're looking for something in particular, I recommend going to the playlist and skimming through them. There's everything from knitted socks to knitted shawls to, cowls, you name it. Crocheted socks, crocheted shawls, crochet alongs, needle tat alongs, knit alongs. There's all kinds of fun stuff that happens here. So thank you for sticking around. If this is not your thing, I'm sorry. Maybe the next video will be for you. If not, like I said, I've got all kinds of playlists. Let's go ahead and crank up the torch. Here's how it works. I turn on my torch. It is very loud. So I allow a few seconds of the torch sound. And then what I do is mute the rest of my video and do a little bit of a voiceover to kind of just tell you what I'm doing. But I kind of gave you an overview, so we're going to get into it and see what happens. Let's go ahead and crank up that torch. Do you want to? All right, let's go. All right, so from this point out will be a warm up some of the white. As I said, I wanted to start with a white bead. So I'm going to start warming up the white and getting it to the molten stage. And as I'm doing that, I will be warming up my mandrel. And now we'll start applying this white and creating that footprint, that base bead, something to work off of, and add this Marini to it. And the Marini is these really cool designs in these little pieces of glass. And it's really neat to watch what happens as you put them in and apply the clear glass over them. It's really a lot of fun to watch. Hopefully, I can have a good demonstration at the end of what happens. So I switched over to a new white because the old white I wasn't liking. I was coming up on a spot in it, the rod of glass that had some just smudge on it or something. So I just set it down and grabbed another white to start working on that footprint bead. Just kind of working my way along, adding where I need to add and making it symmetrical as much as possible. Now I'm going to overheat it throughout and get a shape. All right, so we're just going to work on shaping this base bead, getting it somewhat to what I'm looking for. Now I decided I wanted to go ahead and put a clear, encase that white in clear. And of course it fractured and I'm heating it up to a certain point and I want to get the scuzz off of it and remove that fracture there right at the end. So that's what I'm doing. All right. Now we can begin encasing this white bead. Takes a little bit of time. This is an 8mm rod of clear glass, so it takes a little bit more time to heat it up and get this white bead fully encased and then melted down on that white bead and shaped and ready for the next step. I figured I would spare you the very, very long video and speed it up because it does take quite a bit of time to get this process completely done. I hope that you all are enjoying these lampworking videos. Lampworking is an old term that dates way back, and what it is meaning is they worked by lamp. So that was lampworking. Well, of course, over the years, we've come into propane and compressed oxygen, and now it's a crossover to flame working. But that's where the term lamp working comes from. All right, so what I did was I spot heated one spot and then placed a Marini with the tweezers into that spot. I heated up some clear and put right on top of it. Now what I'm doing is heating up just the clear and allowing that clear to soak down into that Marini design. And what it does is it almost like blooms in front of your eyes as you're watching it. It's really neat to see. I wish I could get you in a lot closer to see this. Now I'm just helping it just a little bit with the butter knife, just kind of gently pulling at the edge of that clear glass so I can get busy on the next one. And I heat up the Marini and the spot heat the bead as well in order to put them together. There we go. Put another big old dollop of clear glass over the top. I'm trying to keep my rod of clear glass warm because it's very easy to fracture. It gets cold quick and it will fracture. It has already done so, so I'm going to bust a piece off soon. You'll see me reach back and kind of bust a piece of it off and start working again. I try to work as much as I can, and sometimes the fracture works itself out in that rod of glass, and sometimes it don't. All right, let's add another Marini. These are so neat. There we go, stick it in, and now we can put a dollop of clear on top. These are quite, there it is. I busted it off right there. Now we're going to start warming that next spot up again. These are quite fun to do. They really are, but it is very time consuming with all the clear layers that you do and working each one of these Marini individually. But it turns out so neat. Just heating that clear glass up and then turning it away from the heat and allowing it to soak in. Now we're going to put another one on. And once again, my tweezer's stuck. There we go. It kind of pulled the glass all the way from the base bead, so I was kind of having to push it back down a little bit. You can see it's a little oblong shape. But it all works itself out in the end. It all melts back down. So I start working on that, heating that dollop of clear over the top of it and working with it. In the meantime, I'm still working on keeping the rest of the bead nice and warm and keeping somewhat of a shape going. Trying to. All right, now I decided I wanted to put some blue dots. Just randomly placing blue dots around on the white bead. There we go. I thought, well, maybe I'll go ahead and put this translucent blue on next, and then changed my mind. I decided to do another layer of clear over the top of what I just did. I'm still not the best at encasing yet. I am working on it and attempting to do lots of clear and give it that extra wow effect. So it takes me a little bit of time, and of course, it being an 8mm rod, it takes a lot more time. And then you get so much glass on there that it takes a long time to heat that glass up thoroughly in order to get it melted in a symmetrical shape, the shape you're looking for. But it's so much fun. So I'm just keeping the bead warm at the back of the flame. I'm heating up the clear and going over the whole entire bead with clear. It gives it a lot of depth when you do this and a lot of 3D look to it. I try to spend a little bit of time looking to see where I might need a little bit more glass and add it here and there as I go. And now we're going to melt that all down. So that is layer number 2 of clear. All right, so I'm going to start giving it a little bit of shape again. Since my encasing in clear is not the greatest yet, it takes a little bit more shaping than it would others. They can do pretty good the first go, but they've been doing this for years. I just started doing this year, and it's so much fun. I have enjoyed this. All right, now I'm bringing in that translucent blue, and in some empty spaces over it, I'm going to put dots of the translucent blue. And now I'm not pushing them down flat. I'm leaving them slightly elevated, so that way there's a little bit of depth in there. And I'm going to encase this in clear one more time after this. So it will be 3 layers of clear on this white bead with the Marini and the dots. So here we go. Just kind of melting them so that way they're melted in before I go and start covering them with clear. And then holding it to the back of the flame, keeping the bead warm, but letting it cool down enough that I'm not going to drag those dots around the bead when I start putting the clear on. Hopefully at some point I can get a good video of zoom in just on doing one single Marini, so that way you can see how cool it is when it opens up and gets like it blooms. It is so neat. Hopefully I can get you a decent video of that sometime soon. Maybe we'll plan for next week's Lampworking video to be that. And if you are watching this down the road sometime, if I say next week, it's probably in the past as well. But all of my videos for Lampworking is under one playlist of Lampworking, and all my videos go into an all playlist. Now, some folks, they actually swipe their clear glass from one end of the bead to the other, kind of like I just did there for a moment. I found some spots right close to the mandrel I wanted to get just some extra clear in there, and that was the best way for me to do it, was to swipe it in there. But there are some folks like Miss Robin, who I absolutely adore and love watching her Lampworking demos. She swipes from bottom to top or top to bottom, both, and overlaps. And what I do is I'm wrapping, I'm going around. And it's just two different techniques. It depends on what she's doing. Sometimes she may wrap as well. All right, we got our clear on there, and we're going to go into the full overheat. Not necessarily like super overheat, but we need to get it very melty and very molten state, so that way I can get this a decent shape. And I use gravity a lot, so you'll see me like tip it from one direction to the other. It's kind of like having, warm, almost solid Jell-O, but warm Jell-O, and you're moving it by sliding it back and forth, what I'm doing is allowing the heat to heat up the glass, and the glass goes whichever direction I want it to by using gravity. And that helps a lot get into those small little crevices and cracks that you may have missed. And it helps even the bead out a little bit, and you're not doing too much pressing on the bead as far as on the marver down there and disrupting your design. So I'm back to my butter knife here, and all I'm doing is kind of giving a little bit of a shape to each end of the bead, just finding the parts that need just a little bit of curving, and I'm curving just that spot. Found a couple that I wasn't happy with. The whole time I'm looking at my bead and looking at where I need to adjust where the glass is. All right, so now I found some bubbles and I want to pop them. That's something that happens with clear glass, and it's inevitable with me. I'm always popping bubbles. So I just am poking the bubbles and popping them, and then heating that spot and allowing the bubble that has been popped, it creates a hole, so allowing that glass to fill in that hole. And these bubbles that I'm popping are a lot closer to the surface than others, and they're larger bubbles. So I just take the little pick there and poke into the bubble, and then heat and let it melt down in there. I think I got them all this time, and I'm just going to heat it up and melt all that down so that way it's filled in. And then that will be it. So I want to thank you for watching and following along with my journey, and be blessed, be a blessing. And until next time, y'all, bye for now.